Welcome to Zeta Protocol, the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that is 66.99% more prophetic than a Jedi holocron and statistically the first thing to break after every New Year's resolution. I'm Egnards, joined by Pico. It's time to talk about the birds and the bees burrito. And tonight, the galaxy turns the calendar page with shaking hands. The CG holiday hiatus is starting to thaw. Lights flicker on the dev tower. The great content machine is clearing its throat. And the first rumble of a new production cycle rolls across Tatooine. Spider-Maul is right around the corner, crawling on walls, stealing your mods, and making your GAC opponent question their sexuality. Because yes, look out, here comes Spider-Maul. In the distance, the next Conquest champion lurks. Are we going back to a longer time ago? Or has Meathead hit us with the ultimate cock tease? So reset your dailies, whisper apologies to your mod inventory, and hit play as we open the first chapter of a brand new year written entirely in currencies, cooldowns, and consequences. My God, that was a mouthful, and I just try to get faster and faster and faster. Pico, how are you doing today? It's been a while. It's been about a month.
It has. I'll tell you what. It's slow. I'm trying to ease back into work after being off for a couple of weeks for the holidays, and it's slow moving. How are you
I
doing?
can I can imagine. So I
Yeah.
went back to work on Monday. It was tough. I was telling my coworkers, and some of the people listening to this have kind of heard this story already, but I was telling my coworkers on Monday that my break from work was kind of like a bear hibernating for winter because right after Christmas, my HVAC broke and it's about 20 degrees here. And I called them. I emergency called them on Sunday morning, and they said we'll be right over there. Great, they're gonna get this fixed. And they came out and they said, "Hey, we know what it is. It's the motor, but nobody's open today. We can't get it till tomorrow." So tomorrow they come out and they go, "Hey, your manufacturer, we don't stock those parts anymore. So either you have to pay for this repair or you have to wait 3 weeks to get it done for free, and I'm
Yeah.
not waiting 3 weeks."
Yeah.
I was like, fine, go get the part. But it was going to take them till the next day to get the part. But it was actually the end of the next day to get the part. So we went 5 days subsisting in 15 to 20 degree weather on one space heater in one room. I was wearing 3 hoodies. When the
Yeah.
guy
No,
came to
no, thank you.
actually, when the guy came to actually fix it, I was wearing a winter coat and a hat.
Yeah.
So by the time it was fixed, I felt like those 5 days were gone and just
Yeah. Yeah.
disappeared from under me. It was survival mode, but it is what it
Uh,
is.
Man, I am sorry. That is. I guess it makes my complaint not even worth talking about, although I will. Um, so I made a concerted effort over the last 2 weeks that I was home when I was off work that I was not going to spend any time in my office. Like I have a
Okay.
TV in here. I used to play video games in here, but I was going to disconnect from the point of like I'm not even going to be. And I literally was not here. Like
Yeah.
um, move the Xbox downstairs, and it was a very enjoyable 2 weeks. And then I get back up in here on Monday, and I have these two very nice windows that look out the front of the house, and I am just like chilled to the bone and realizing like, oh no, my office is just always cold. Like that's it's the
You're just so
windows are
used to
great,
it.
but yeah, so it's like when you step away for 2 weeks and you're like, oh, this is really comfortable, and you come back and just like I've been miserable the last 3 days because it's just like, oh, I'm just cold to the bone. Not 15 degrees, no heat cold,
Yeah.
but it's like
Well, the interesting thing was like after he fixed the heat and that next day and it went up to like 68. 68's it's not cold, but it's also not warm. And you
yeah,
can kind of
yeah,
feel like a little chill. It felt like summer in the
yeah,
house for like 3 days. We were just like, wow, this is
yeah,
great. This
yeah.
is amazing. Um, but you know what? Your complaint is just as valid. It's my complaint, but not as bad. So it's fine.
Yeah. I do have a funny story from
Okay.
vacation or from the week. So, and I may have actually talked about this in Discord because I was asking for some advice. But for Christmas, I got a lithium ion battery powered snow shovel. All
Okay.
right, so
Yeah,
it's one of these systems. I'm not going to give the system name because frankly, they're not giving us any money.
that's
So
true.
I'm not going to advocate for them on that side. Like they know who they are. They're green and gray. They can make a phone call. I'm more than happy to give them the Pico endorsement. But
Fuck
cool
you,
little,
electric snow
yeah,
shovel
exactly,
company. Screw
exactly.
you.
So it's a little 12-inch, shovel, and we got about a 1 inch 2 days after Christmas, so it was perfect. I got a chance to try it out, and one of my neighbors, and I do believe accidentally because we don't have a problem with this. One of my neighbors, I believe, dropped their little green baggie of dog poo on the sidewalk, and then it snowed over the top of it. So I'm, using this thing, and as I'm pushing it down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I hear a thump, and 20 feet down the street flies out this frozen piece of dog poop, and the bag shoots off to the side. And it is just like, all right, this is gonna break something. Like this is awesome. Like now this is like you're angry at your neighbor, and you just pile it up on your front yard, and just choom, 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 choom. So perfect. So that was fun.
I'm not even mad.
That
This
brought a
is
little
cool.
yeah. Yeah, this brought a little smile to my face as I'm outside, and again, 20-degree weather, shoveling my little inch of snow. But yeah, awesome. Good
Oh,
stuff.
I wish it was an inch. We got. I mean, we did pretty good this summer. We got not bad. People in the comments they'll be like, "Oh, it snowed 2 feet." We got about 6 inches, which was nice for a white Christmas.
Yeah.
It was about enough where I went outside and I did a little bit of my shoveling without the non-brand descript fancy snow shovel. I don't have one of those yet. I haven't. When you become a homeowner, and I'm sure you know this too, and people who maybe aren't yet or are in the process of buying a home, if you have a garage or if you have a basement, all of those chores that you used to do, you just don't want to do anymore.
No.
You're like,
No.
no, I need the fancy this and I need the fancy that
Yeah.
and I need the thing that makes my life as easy as possible because there is so many chores that need to be done at all times.
Yeah. There's a point of my stepdad gave me advice years ago and said you should hire someone to do it. And I said, well, you always used to do the stuff around the house. He's like, yeah, because I couldn't afford to. So then I'm just like, got it. All right.
That's exactly so my mentality. I can't afford to either. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a TA, but I understand that I'm not skilled
Yeah.
and that I
Yeah.
am going to break something. So I would rather spend $1,400 for a guy to change the motor in my HVAC
Yeah.
instead of blowing up the entire HVAC. Right?
Yeah.
Like to me, it just works out better that way.
The only thing worse of 5 days without heat is 3 weeks without heat because you
Mhm.
screwed it up so badly that that's
Ex-
that's how long it's going to take to come back.
That's
So
That's exactly what it is. And I know we have a lot to go through today, but my case
yeah.
in point is uh, a couple of months ago, our washer broke. And my wife, who hasn't really figured out yet, and if she's listening, I love you, honey. I promise, I really do. But she hasn't figured out yet that AI is not the most reliable thing in the world when you ask it questions. And our washer broke, and she's looking at ChatGPT, trying to get things fixed. And she's like, "Oh, it's just this part, it's that part, it's easy, it's this." And by it's easy, she means that she's going to order a part and I'm going to do it. It's going to be my time spent. She must have ordered like $200 worth of parts for this stupid washer. Nothing got fixed. I thought I was in the wrong. Turns out it was a motor issue that the company wasn't like we were out of warranty, but they realized it was a fault, but they're not recalling it
Yeah.
publicly, but they will do it if you like pull their arm. So we spent $200 getting a free fix on our washer, which is what I would have just done in the
Yeah.
first place.
Yeah.
I would have just called somebody.
Yep.
So
It
that's
worked.
it is what it is. But with that said, we have a lot. We had nothing earlier today at all. We had literally nothing.
Yeah.
By the time we got to recording, I had to change that intro that we did a couple of times. You'll notice in the intro I said, "Hey, is Meathead cock blocking us?" That's because I didn't have a chance to change it once that stuff was confirmed. I figured let's just leave it in. Where do we want to start today? Let's see.
Ah,
We have so much. We have the patch notes, which are small. I think
yep.
we both decided we're going to kind of gloss over Inquisitor Barris, right? There's too much. Nobody cares. She's been in game for a while. We have Maul. We have the new Conquest unit. We have the new year ahead of us. Where should we go from here? Choose your own adventure.
So here's how I view the updates right now, and maybe this will help us kind of get the path. So we've got Maul, which I think we've all been waiting on.
Yes.
And is tied to the Stranger, which we all got the Stranger this week. So I think that's a topic in itself. And then we got the new Conquest character, and we got some kit touch ups in the patch notes that all seem to be related together.
To the
So
Conquest note. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe Maul and we can talk about Stranger a little bit, and then we do those other kind of things together. Although I'm not sure
Okay.
we're ready to do a kit reveal of the new Conquest character because I think it's in the game. I actually haven't even seen
It
that part,
is
but
it yeah,
yeah.
so it is in the game. It is in the game,
Okay.
and there are some interesting things there that I do want to talk about.
Okay.
But I do think that Spider-Maul is the important thing right now. So we'll
Yeah.
pop into that. I'm gonna switch this over. We will do a traditional kit reveal here because this is all last minute that they gave this to us.
Yeah.
It says 5 hours ago on the actual update, but that is probably when it was private to them. I think it was maybe 3 hours ago that it was live. We have Hate Fueled Maul, who is a dark side attacker, unaligned force user, and a large character.
I mean, he is the largest of large characters.
He is a big boy.
Yeah.
He is a big boy. I will give him that. He is. This is. I don't know why we call him Spider Maul. He's more like Doc Ock,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Doctor Maul. We're gonna start. That's it, guys. It's Doc Maul.
It's Doc Maul. Yeah,
It's Doc
absolutely.
Maul. I've seen people use Buddy Cop Chewbacca. Not as much, but I've seen people use it. So we're lighting some fires under some people's asses. We don't need to read any of this stuff, but we have the kit. Our basic ability, Fractured Fury. Oh my god, he is huge. This is like Diablo 2. I don't know if you ever played
Yeah.
Diablo 2. Like,
Oh,
what's his name?
absolutely.
Duriel, the second act boss.
Yep.
That's Maul right here. So, basic ability Fractured Fury. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict a stack of bleed, max 6, which can't be dispelled or resisted until the end of the encounter. Gain a stack of Edge of Madness, max 100 stacks, until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Once per encounter during his turn, Maul inflicts Fracture on target enemy until each of his allies has taken a turn, or until he is defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Bleed, for those of us, because we don't see it in a lot of kits, 5% speed, negative, and tenacity. So negative 5% speed and tenacity, and lose 5% health each turn. Remove one stack when any health is recovered. Edge of Madness is negative 2% defense per stack. Fracture, we already know. We're very well familiar and very well acquainted with that. Special ability 1, Relentless Malice. Deal physical damage to target enemy 4 times and inflict a stack of bleed, which can't be dispelled or resisted until the end of encounter. If the target already has max stacks of bleed, trigger their damage. If Maul has 30 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, reduce the cooldown of Howl of the Broken by 1. If Maul has 60 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, he deals an additional instance of true damage to target enemy equal to 30% of his max health. This is where one of our Omicrons is. While in Territory Wars, deal physical damage an additional 4 times. Inflict an additional 5 stacks of bleed. So that'll be 6 out of 6 stacks of bleed, which can't be dispelled or resisted until the end of encounter. If he has 30 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, reset the cooldown of Howl of the Broken instead. Right? And I don't think we've gotten to Howl of the Broken. That's the next ability.
So I want to make sure that I understand that on Territory Wars.
Okay.
Outside of the straight up damage,
Hmm.
they will immediately take 30% of Spider-Maul's
Max health.
max health damage. And then on their first turn, or on their turn, provided they don't get any type of healing over time, they'll take 30% of their remaining health damage on at the start of their turn.
As long as he has 60 or more stacks is for
So okay.
the trigger. Yes.
Yeah, we will see on that point.
It's gonna be interesting. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
he is a silly boy from what we are seeing.
Yes. Yeah.
Um Howl of the Madness is his second special. Deal physical damage, daze, and inflict healing immunity, which is important for bleed, for 2 turns on all enemies. Call all dark side attacker allies to assist. Maul gains critical damage up and offense up for 2 turns. If he has 50 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, inflict fear on all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. Remove 60% turn meter from all enemies, and all dark side attacker allies gain 60% turn meter. This is another one of the Omicrons. While in territory wars, if target enemy is inflicted with bleed, inflict a stack of bleed, which can't be dispelled or resisted on all enemies until the end of encounter. Increase the cooldowns of target enemy by 1, which can't be resisted. Now, before we go on, you pointed this out to me earlier that in the design notes down below, the 60% turn meter gain by allies seems to be on the Omicron,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
not on the Omicron in the kit reveal. So we don't know what's accurate there.
You know what? Let's check what we believe to be the source of truth and what's in game.
That's true,
So
right?
the
We can
actual
check in
kit,
game.
the kit is there now.
Okay, let's do
Um,
that. And that's Howl of the Broken.
so yeah, okay. So this is in outside of territory wars. Remove 60% turn meter from all enemies, and all dark side attacker allies gain 60% turn meter.
Okay,
Is
so
it
what's in game right now is that's not part of the territory Wars Omicron.
correct? Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the other interesting point on that, because this is how we found out this was the design question, is that the 60% turn meter reduction is not, it's an independent clause to the 60%
Yes.
turn meter
Yeah.
gain. So even if it's resisted, even if they can't lose turn meter, you still gain that 60% turn meter.
Yep. So really, if you're reading the FAQ, it's just ignore the Omicron part of that question, and it's if the question makes sense from that side. So
Yes.
um,
So I'm wondering if
it
that was part of the Omicron and they didn't like it,
yeah.
and then it just the whatever. I did reach out. I asked for some clarification there. I didn't get any clarification. It might have been clarified on the event server. I didn't have time to look there to see
Yep.
if Meathead was still trolling people because I saw that he was earlier today with gifs of famous characters across all metaverses. But I guess we'll see, right? That's what it comes down to. Our first unique, Hatred Sustains. Whenever Maul takes damage, he gains 3 stacks of Edge of Madness, max 100 until the end of encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And he has a 5% chance to gain 75% turn meter. Maul cannot be instantly defeated. While Maul is at certain health thresholds, he gains cumulative effects. 75% health or less, he gains 50% offense, and he can't recover health above 75%. 50% health or less, he gains 25% speed, or 25 speed, not 25%. When he takes damage, he instead has a 10% chance to gain 75% turn meter. He can't recover health above 50%. At 25% health or less, he gains 2,200% defense and 100% offense. When Maul hits this threshold, he gains bonus protection 100% for 2 turns and takes a bonus turn, and he can't recover health above 25%. This is his third Omicron. While in territory wars, at the start of battle, Maul gains 30% max health and offense and 100 stacks of Edge of Madness right from the beginning until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Whenever Maul is damaged, he instead has a 25% chance to gain 100% turn meter. That's
I love this. This whole
that's
idea of he hits these thresholds and he never he's never healing.
so
Protection
that I
effectively,
like. I
never
do
healing.
really like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
think it's a
I
cool
think that's
design
really cool.
space.
Yeah,
I like the idea if he gets down, and it's not like who is it? Is it Malga? No, it's Malik. Malik, right? Like he hits
yeah,
those thresholds, and you're kind of fucked. But he's also going to regain his health.
yeah.
This is interesting, and I am a fan of that idea.
And,
Does he
and I,
have?
the way they
Yes, he
just
does.
I like the way they described it is that the whole point of why they built it this way is they're trying to really kind of get this like Maul's backed into a corner, like
Yeah,
thought around it. And I just yeah, and like as he gets more backed in the corner, he becomes more aggressive and is yeah, I think it's super cool.
it's just going to be
Um,
very scary to fight him, and I think,
yeah,
I mean, modding wise, right? I'm feeling it's going to be very much max health and offense
yeah,
secondaries. It just
yeah,
seems you want him to survive and you want him as much offense as you can on top of that. But I'm not a modding expert, so we'll see when that happens. He does have one more unique. Always remember I am fear. At the start of battle, Maul gains 25% max health for each other Darkside ally and 25% offense for each other non-Darkside ally. Hatred and 5 stacks of anguish until the end of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. He loses all protection and gains that much max health, and he takes reduced damage from percent health damage effects. If there is an enemy Kenobi, Maul gains 20 stacks of Edge of Madness until the end of encounter. During Maul's first turn, each encounter, he ignores taunt effects. Maul can't be evaded or countered, and he is immune to ability block, fear, and redeemed. If there were no Galactic Legends at the start of battle, until the first time Maul is defeated, enemies defeated by Darkside allies can't be revived. If there is at least one other active ally at the start of each character's turn, mark the healthiest unaligned Force user ally which can't be dispelled or resisted, and they gain bonus protection 30% until the end of that turn. As a reminder, Hatred is 25% critical chance, 100% defense, 100% offense. When defeated, revive with 100% health and gain 100, that's evil, and 100% turn meter. Anguish takes damage at the start of their turn equal to 2% of their max health for each stack of Anguish and gains that much offense until the end of their turn. This character can't be defeated by this damage. And Redeemed, which is Juhani's Omicron, he is not eligible for plus 35%, plus 35 speed whenever this character uses an ability during their turn. All other allies with Redeemed assist. Whenever this character gains a buff, dispel all debuffs on allies with Redeemed. Whenever this character is damaged, all allies with Redeemed gain 15% turn meter. Whenever this character is inflicted with a debuff, all allies with Redeemed recover 15% protection. That was a mouthful to read. I
yes.
really hope that your thoughts now are long and wordy to give my voice a rest.
So a couple of things in there, and this gets into. I'll give you a few minutes before I ask you right away, but the we've in old dirty blasters we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of days about what the stranger team makeup should look like, and I think that
Okay,
this changes a lot of things, and I think
that you
it's
were
going to mix
thinking.
some things up. But first off, high level, he's getting like 70 to 100% additional health out. Take the protection piece out of it. He's effectively doubling his health where it gets in there, so he's going to be a big beefy boy as you would expect. Um, this is the I'm going to say something that probably, I guess I'm a little shocked that I would. When you look at the Stranger's kit and he's got all of these weird like insta kills and do this and all these crazy
Hmm.
things, the stranger is secondary to this kid. Like he is the thing that people are going to be afraid of moving forward. Um,
It's like Kamal, Kamal Nanjiani, his
yeah,
character in, was it The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett? I don't remember which one. Um, where he
it
kind of
was Kenobi. It was Kenobi.
so he like
Yeah.
kind of pretends to be a Jedi, right? Like that's the
Yep.
stranger compared to this. You go, hold my beer. I got this.
Yes. Yeah. So the interesting thing is, and I think this is where it's some like the good old fashioned kind of team building comes in, is the interaction with Juhani's Omicron and territory wars, because and they said the reason so Juhani's Omicron does some things, but the bigger piece is it's effectively like a version of guard that gives 100% counter to two characters. And I think they do a little bit of extra damage, but the idea is you want it on Star Killer because then Star Killer is doing
Keeps
or
doing
Star
his,
Killer assists. He did, and he builds up his stacks, and then he drops the ship on everybody from that side.
yeah,
They say in the notes that uh, Spider Legs is can't get that buff because they want it on Starkiller. Like
yeah.
that's the first piece. So the question is like you want it on light side. So does this now become like Stranger, uh, Spider Legs, Starkiller, Juhani, and ATF? Because ATF doing all kinds of assists seems really nasty all of a sudden, and maybe the
Hmm.
ATF Cal thing just kind of goes away forever as to where that sits. Um, the big question, and this is where I'm giving you a chance to catch your breath. What Jedi now goes with his kits? And I think it's Juhani in Territory Wars, but what's the Jedi in GAC?
GAC.
And, and I'll preface this with my assumption was Spider Legs was going to come in as a tank.
Okay, yeah.
And he wasn't, which is why I think it's opened up a lot of like, what does this look like?
But it almost feels like he's not a tank, right? But
Right.
he has so much extra defense by the time you get
Yeah.
him low. He revives his first time he dies, and you have to do that all over again. Um, it's it's almost like fives, where five. I mean, fives is a tank, so maybe it's a bad example, but where you don't really want to hit, like you don't want fives to taunt, but as a player, you want to hit fives because
Yeah.
it screws things over. I feel like you almost want to just get rid of him right off of the bat, and you're just not going to be able to do that very quickly. So he's almost like a quasi tank. Now, right now, pre Spider Legs Maul, I put Grandmaster Yoda in my GAC
Okay.
uh, because Grandmaster Yoda does not have a home right now, really. Nobody really uses him. And something like Foresight, I felt like because everybody puts it on defense, right, in the first week, something like Foresight might make it more of a pain in the ass for Bane. Um,
Okay.
so that's kind of where my head was at in the early game. But at the same time, I almost feel like, so with Starkiller's team, the core three were super important:
Yep.
Palpatine, Mara Jade, Starkiller. And previous to the Omicrons coming out, the other two didn't really matter. Your team was going to do what it needed to do regardless. It was those three that were the vehicle, and the other two, like, they did something if something went bad. I don't
Yep.
know if it's going to matter as much. I think that the core three of the team, which is your Stranger, your Spider Legs, and your Star Killer, are going to be doing like 90% of what the team needs to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else is going to be situational to what you want it for, if that makes sense.
It does, and I think that there's really there's two pieces here, and one is what does Sir Malicos look like now?
Mhm.
Because that's going to pull a lot of that it's going to pull that unaligned force user slot. And what does this stranger team look like? And really, the challenge is it's the Jedi is the Jedi, and Yoda makes a lot of sense there. Uh, you know, Kanan's a big beefy tank. Old Ben doesn't really have a home anymore now that the way
Yeah.
that the Leia team is built. But you could do a lot of different things. But the the idea that I'm playing with, and I think this also works for Sir Malicos, are those two do they become two offense teams that just don't need tanks?
I almost you mean the Sierra Malicos team and the Stranger team?
Yeah, yeah, like,
Okay.
can you build those 2 teams and just not use tanks?
So right now, it's an interesting question because right now, obviously, we're playing with the stranger in GAC, and everybody
Yep,
puts the new toy on defense, right? Let your
except me.
opponent deal with it, except for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we're finding out, and obviously we don't have a full team right now because Spider Legs Maul is not there. But without Spider Legs Maul, it seems like it's pretty stupid on defense. And by stupid, I don't mean like slang stupid, which means good. I mean
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
actual stupid. And these are unverified accounts. I haven't had time to really look into this, but I've heard Malico or Malgus beats it. I have heard Jedi Master Mace Windu beats it. I have heard Old Night Sisters beats it.
Oh, jeez,
Um,
okay.
Now, again, Spider Legs Maul stops revives, so I think that that's going to stop the Old Night Sisters.
Yeah.
But it's just an important starting point when talking about the team and what
Yep.
it's going to do and what it's going to be. I feel like Spider Legs Maul is going to stop, obviously, Night Sisters. But I think this is an interesting use case for Jedi Master Mace Windu because everybody is like, well, this team isn't great. It doesn't do good on
Yeah.
defense. It doesn't do great on offense. Is this like the magic bullet to the team even after Spider Maul comes out?
It's possible, and so there's a couple of interesting things around that kit. So, anybody who played Conquest against the stranger knows he's gotta be dead. Like,
Yeah.
he has to be dead right away or so if you don't put a tank on that team on defense, while he gets a bunch of bonuses for Kenobi, Kenobi still can actually jump the stranger on Cat's first turn. And then is that team necessarily as dangerous at that point if the stranger is out? You
That
know,
would be really
type.
interesting because there is an anti GL clause.
Yes, yeah. And again, if I'm trading a galactic legend for a conquest slash journey guide character, that's a trade that most people will take on that side. Um, you know, but so what happened with the way this team is built? Do you need Visas for the revive? Although I don't think anybody can really ever get Visas fast enough that the revive actually
That
really
I
matters.
think that her kit is just so outdated. Like in the
Yeah,
original Star Killer team, everyone was like, "Oh, use Visas," but it became why it doesn't. You're never
yeah,
getting to that point. It doesn't matter. She's gonna die, and everything's
yeah.
fine. The other thing I noticed is that with the anti GL thing, which I think, if I'm remembering correctly, uh, Galactic Legend. Just want to double check. Uh, okay, so if there were no allied galactic legends at the start of battle, until the first time Maul is defeated, enemies defeated by dark side allies can't be revived. What that says to me is that Leia is something that probably was losing to this
Yeah.
before they put that clause in.
Yep.
Like anytime I see a clause like that, I wonder why was the clause put in?
Yeah.
And anything with a revive is that to me is like, oh, okay, that's something they were worried about. They want this team to still be beating that team.
What's interesting is you look at it from the lens of why was that clause put in place? I always view those clauses as we have not given you the team that should beat this consistently. So we're just gonna leave the Galactic Legend as like the option on the
As and that might be it. That
yeah,
100%
you know,
might be it.
yeah,
I think that Jedi Master Mace Windu might be the win case here to give them prominence. I think
yeah.
maybe Malgus might stay a counter, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. But obviously, Night Sisters is kind of thrown out the window here because of Spider Legs Maul.
And with the Malgus, is that be and I
The
with the current
Datacrons?
state of reroll on Datacrons, do we just have a massive defense Datacron that's propping up Malgus there as well, which
That's
goes away?
That's also possible. It's very, very possible. And that kind of leads in actually to the question you had asked before about the state of Seer Malicos. If you remember, and I know that we're kind of jumping around, but this is all
Yeah,
like tangentially related.
yeah,
If you remember when Seer Malicos kind of first came out, Starkiller wasn't on that team. Starkiller had his own team.
yeah,
We only started using Starkiller there when Datacron starting affecting Ray a little bit more, and
yeah.
we needed that extra firepower. Um, I think that Seer Malicos isn't going to need Starkiller at least for the next 3 months. I think it's still going to be beating Hondo for the next like 3 months while this Datacron is, well, 2.5 months while this Datacron is still around. And I think that it's going to be an offense team that's like an A minus team going forward. That's not going to beat, I don't think it's going to beat Ray because Ray, they just seem to have a hard on for giving her amazing
Yeah.
Datacrons. It might still beat, Hondo in the future when his pirate crons are gone. I think there's still going to be a place for that team on offense.
Well, and I think that with Sir Malicos, and again, there's a bunch of variations of it, but I went through the last 2 weeks of the calendar year, and
Hmm.
I put together a base team for about 40 teams, 5v5 teams. Just and yes, like certain datacrons may cause a character to move from team A to team B,
Yeah.
but where I have always historically I rarely run standard Cal Kestis. I never
Hmm.
run them with Ray. I always run them with Sir Malakos because all the counters seem to be relying on that. So I pulled Starkiller and inserted Maul because Maul does not have a home any longer anymore.
Yes.
He
So I
doesn't.
did the same
So
thing.
yeah, so he was a homeless character and he made sense. And I've been running Seer, Cal, Malakos, Maul, and ATF, and I've been running it without a tank because the things that it does well on offense, you just don't need something to absorb the hits right now.
Yeah.
The things that you can put on that side. The Where I was wrong, kind of where my thoughts were, is my assumption on the Stranger was going to be Stranger, Star Killer, uh, Spider Legs, Visas, and Barris. There is no reason for either one of those characters on this team now.
So
Like it,
that
it feels
was
like attackers is what that needs to be.
so that's what CG said, right? They were like, "Oh, Barris
Yeah,
and Visas," and I had been over the last week reminding people, just because CG says it doesn't mean that that's what's actually going to end up
yeah,
happening. Um,
and
they're
and I
homeless-ish, so sure.
yeah I was looking at it more from, again, the Stranger has a really interesting kit, but it kind of feels like he needs a lot of turn. Like he's got
Mhm.
3 insta kills, which means he needs a lot of turns to get to
He needs to
three
just keep
insta
going.
kills. So it was like Visas and Barris were there to make them survivable. Now with
Yes.
the way this team seems to be set up, like the Stranger is a ticking time bomb. You don't need that any longer. Now it's literally like his buddy that comes along with him is just like, no, I start shooting people.
It is it
Uh,
is it is going to be a really scary. I mean, again, right now they're not doing great on defense, and that's saying something in a week where nobody knows what they're doing.
yeah.
Spider Legs Mall may change that a little bit. I hope that it doesn't change it too much. I think it's going to be an offense powerhouse, but because there's a lot of Omicrons involved, like it is going to be a silly team.
I have had there was someone who's done a bunch of testing in Arena and said with certain datacrons, and again, datacrons are datacrons, but with certain datacrons, they were pretty much beating every GL with the Stranger.
Yeah.
It's okay that if it's just an offensive team, like
Yes.
if it's this is the delete button that I need to make the map work, that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong
Yes.
with that.
On offense, it's fine, right? Because on offense,
Yeah,
it can only do damage to one team.
yeah,
On
yep,
defense, and I understand that we're in a weird efficiency meta where things don't get a lot of holds, and I do want there to be more and more interesting defensive teams. But I just think making a team that's like, well, this is going to be unbeatable. Good luck, everybody, is not the way to do it. So I am kind of happy that this is one where we're going. All right, well, maybe it's not going to be a defense, a defense
Yeah.
contender.
Um,
Now, on
looks like a
that
fun
though,
kit.
I'm
Yeah.
curious with the stranger, how did you mod him?
So I went back and forth, and so the, a comment on how I build mods is
Hmm.
important. So because I'm a big hot utils user,
Yeah.
I care less about sets and primaries, and I care more about target stats and let the tool figure out
What's
what the
best?
best way to achieve that. So what I built him on is I wanted 340 speed, I wanted 95,000 health, and I wanted 10,000 offense.
Okay.
So which I think that the general consensus I saw was maybe 350 speed, that 95 to 100,000 health, and just let offense kind of land where it is, which is where a lot of people that was speed and offense is where. So for me, it's an offense set, it's a health set, um, and I guess it's health on the cross because I've got some weird things, and I hit those targets.
Okay.
We'll see where it lands, kind of what that does, but I felt maybe slowing him down and having him hit a little bit harder might be a better way to go. But we'll see where it what that really results in.
So the reason I asked, obviously, is there is a lot of divisiveness in the community in
Yeah.
terms of, is it an offense character or is it a speed character? And you can obviously you want both, but which one is more important? You seem to value the offense slightly more. I have gone the speed route. I feel like he just needs to
Okay.
keep taking turns. I don't know which is right. I have no idea, but I was curious if you went the same way, you went the other way. You were, what if you were Team Jacob, if you were Team Edward? I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to know.
It I think it's oh shoot. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
All right. Sorry. I thought something screwed up. Um, so I think that it's going to change over time. I think it's going to be somewhere in that range with the fact that there's a lot of assists built into Spider-Maul's kit as well.
Hmm.
I think having the ability to hit hard when it's not your turn is gonna. And again, I that was an accident. I fell into that on accident. That wasn't part of the plan
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a. I think both of these are weird characters of is Spider-Maul going to be like the Lord Vader, the old Lord Vader loadout, where it's just all the health that you could possibly get
Hmm.
and offense, or is it going to be again? Is it speed because I want to get that first turn off and I want to get fracture out on somebody? So I think there's going to be a lot of questions of where that lands. So
There is going to be, and you have to remember, there's a lot of damage that's going to be happening on this team with the stranger doing. I
yeah,
think they're doing max. He's doing max health damage on one of his abilities. Star Killer has his ultimate, which does like 90% health
yeah,
damage. I don't think offense is as important, and it's going to be almost like a death by a thousand paper cuts team that has
yeah.
this big explosion at the end where you hit a little, hit a little, hit a little, and then just everything's fucked.
It's
It's
like that
just
one little tiny piece of skin that's connecting like the 37 different cuts, and like you
everything.
get that one, and everything just
And
pours
then
out at that
everything
point.
just pours out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's just going
yeah,
to be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then you're like that little dog in the meme with the
yeah.
fire just burning around you. And you're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
fucked. I'm just fucked. Um,
I I hope the stranger is cool. I'm just really concerned that with all of those insta kills in his kit, you're just never going to see all of them. That fights just don't last long enough that you
mhm.
see all of
So that happens.
them.
That happens a lot, I think, in the game where we read kits and we go, man, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. And it's just they're written in a way where, yeah, it's cool, but it never happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, oh,
Uh,
like it's great, but who cares?
I
It's
mean,
very possible.
I need to kill 15 characters with only 5 on the board, and I've got to do it in 5 minutes. Like that. That's
Yeah.
a. I don't think anyone wants to slog through that fight.
That's a very specific thing. I mean, I only
Yeah,
used him in TB just to like see what the team does.
yeah,
It didn't seem that interesting, but again, it's TB and I don't have Spider Legs Maul yet. So,
yeah.
maybe it's just not there. And obviously he's a GAC character. He's not a TB character, but you kind of want to see things.
Yep.
So, okay, we could make this all about Spider-Legs Maul, but
Yeah.
we do have other things on the agenda. We have the update. The update came out today. It's not a big update, but there still is a lot available with it. Interestingly, the Rebel B-Wing is farmable, which we all expected.
Yep.
But also Forlom and Zuckuss are both farmable as well, all at the same
I
time.
saw. Yeah.
So that to me was very interesting.
I would. Man, that would have been nice a couple of weeks ago where people really didn't have anything to farm.
Yeah,
And
for a
now,
few
like
weeks.
all these are going to come out, and then we're 4 weeks away from dropping 6 characters on top of everybody. Like, yeah, maybe we could have done that a little
It would have
earlier.
been great over the holiday break, at least
Yeah,
B-Wing.
yeah,
We were all,
yeah.
and I think B-Wing was kind of on target last patch, and now we're all happy. But what was nice is that the Era Store was giving shards,
Yeah.
and that's a new thing for new characters that I haven't seen before. And if you are an episode pass purchaser like I am, you always have an abundance of that currency. So it was
Yep.
nice to get some of those shards ahead of time. I'm skipping over a few things on purpose that anyone watching the video will be able to read. There were a few bugs and adjustments, nothing that seemingly is super important, other than maybe fixed an issue where R2D2 gains only 25% turn meter instead of 50% from Rex's Datacron. That may change things, I guess. I don't know. But we also, well, I guess I shouldn't skip over this. We know Satele Shan is the new Conquest character.
Yes.
We'll just
Yep.
rip the Band-Aid
Yeah.
off. We're going into Old
Uh,
Republic for the new Conquest character.
Yes. Yes. For folks that have no idea who she is, she is the cinematic character in Knights of the Old Republic MMO, so that she was the light side to Darth Malgus on the dark side. Um, I in canon, I believe she is supposed to be the daughter of Revan and Bastila. Is that accurate? I think, man. So
We've
we're
been
gonna
doing
say that, and
this.
then we can get beat up in comments for that. But I think that's, and
We've been
honestly,
doing
the
this for
character
about
looks
5
like
to
her.
6 months now, and I thought it was well established that you were the one who knew everything about every Star Wars thing, and I was the
Yeah,
pretty one. I
yeah,
thought that that's
yeah.
what the whole our dynamic was.
Yeah,
Like
I played that MMO a little bit and don't really remember. So
so, like I said to you earlier, I had a big MMO phase, starting with Star Wars Galaxies, and I've played all of them. I played EverQuest, I played Star Wars Galaxies, I played Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 14, Warhammer, Warcraft. This was at the tail end of my
yeah,
infatuation with MMOs. I had a guild called Sexy Pillow Fights. We did pantsless PvP every Tuesday night. I played the game. I enjoyed the game. I didn't really pay attention to the game. I'm going to go with
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I played it for a little bit in COVID, and it was, I don't know, it did not hold my attention very long. It We're going back to Old Republic. That's
Yeah.
that's what it is. Um,
N- Now, the reason why we have to rip off that Band-Aid is because the other interesting thing with this update is that we are seeing updates to some characters.
yes,
And essentially, I think it's just Bastilla and Mission, right? Bastilla and Mission.
correct.
Bastilla, her force bond, it looks like it's really just being updated to allow for Satele Shan to be the leader, right?
Yes,
If Jedi Knight Revan or Satele Shan is in the leader slot, Bastilla and the allied leader have 70% accuracy, potency, and tenacity. The allied leader also recovers protection from legendary battle meditation. If Darth Revan is on the enemy squad, Bastilla gains advantage and retribution for 1 turn at the start of Darth Revan's turn. Um, that's
that
okay.
last clause is such a very point in time clause.
Yeah. But they kind of shifted it too, because here it says the old text is if Darth Revan is on the enemy squad, Bastilla gains advantage and retribution. If Zalbar is present, he also gains this bonus. Once per turn, mission assist when Zalbar uses an ability. When Zalbar takes
Yep.
damage from an attack, mission gain. Is this copy and pasted wrong?
Hang on.
If I was, I don't. We can't even look in game because the update already came out.
Yeah.
I feel like
Wait.
this
So,
is.
so no. So the second piece is that the second one is the mission where you're talking about mission is 50% off and Zalbar is present.
Yeah, but
That's the
this is under unique for Force Bond.
no. At least what I'm looking at right now. This says unique to me and Big Z forever.
On yeah, but on the forums,
Yes, on the forums post.
maybe mine is outdated then.
Yeah.
And let me. No, yeah, up unique to Force Bond. If you look at the old text, it says if Darth Revan is on the enemy squad, Bastilla gains advantage retribution for 1 turn at the start of Darth Revan's turns. See, and then it says Scion has 50% offense. If Zalbar is present, he also gains this bonus. Once per turn, mission assists when Zalbar uses an ability. When Zalbar, so I think that he copy and pasted that and meant to delete it there, but it
Yeah.
didn't get deleted. And it says Scion, but then it's Zalbar and mission. So
Yeah.
Meathead, please, I will proofread these for you. I will do it. You know I am a pedantic little bitch. I will do it for free.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. But okay, yes. So that's Force Bond without the mission and Zalbar thing, and then me and Big Z forever. Um, Essentially, it is being changed a little bit. New mission, new final text. Mission has 50% offense. If Zalbar is present, he also gains this bonus. Once per turn, mission assists when Zalbar uses an ability. When Zalbar takes damage from an attack, mission gains 10% offense stacking for 2 turns. When mission deals damage to an enemy, Zalbar recovers 10% health. There is a Territory Wars Omicron that is being added. They didn't tell us here for some fucking reason, but I
Yeah.
guess if you already had her maxed out, you're getting this Omicron for free. While in Territory Wars, if all allies are Old Republic and the leader is a Jedi at the start of battle, mission gains the Jedi faction tag. All allies gain 100 speed for 1 turn, and they are immune to cooldown reduction. Whenever a mission uses her basic ability, all allies gain riposte, I don't know how to say it, for 2 turns. If Zalbar is not an ally at the start of battle, mission's abilities all consider the leader to be Zalbar.
Yeah. That's the that. So one, I think it's a bug. I think that the fact that they gave everybody the Omicron, it's a weird bug is what it came down to because that's just
Because
how
they
the
forgot
character
to
is.
add the level.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. What what I'm really that whole I get what they're doing with the Zalbar comment. If he's not an ally at the start, the leader gets it. I guess so. This would be so. I think the assumption is Satele Shan will be the leader of this new team.
Hmm.
If Zalbar is not in that team because there's a couple of territorial Omicrons on the
The
Wookiees,
Wookiees.
she, the teal becomes Zalbar. I guess
My
that's what
thought,
they're
because it's
right.
very convoluted looking, right? But I
Yeah,
think the
yeah,
idea here is if you're a mid game player, you can
yeah,
use Jedi Knight Revan, and he can be the
yep,
leader of this squad. If you're an end game player, you're going to put Zalbar with the Wookiees,
yeah,
and you are going to have Satele Shan as the leader,
yep.
and Satele Shan is Zalbar. It's that simple. Come on, keep
Or
up.
in reality, you won't use either of those teams because we only put 8 teams on the board for territory wars, and we have 10 Galactic Legends. Like we just don't need
You just do it
we
all.
don't need just like that at that level.
It
So
might be a great
uh,
offense team. Who knows? You know,
could be. Or
it
they'll
is
get
what
a
it
game
is.
on for 4 months and it'll be awesome for 4 months, and then it'll go
Just
back to
like
the
Troy
shelf.
Dika, just like Poggle, just like Captain Phasma. Yeah, it'll be the one that tricks my guild.
So in this question kind of leads into the topic we wanted to talk about tonight is do you think this means anything?
I want you to elaborate. Do you mean
Yeah,
Satele
so
Shan?
Satele Shan and starting to see some things kind of touch in. to Old Republic, and
Interesting.
because we were going to we're gonna predictions is probably not the right term, but we were gonna kind of talk about kind of what we thought we were gonna see over the next 12 months.
Okay.
Um, do you think this leads into something over the next 12 months, or is this just a character that people have been asking for? Because I think they've been asking for this character.
People have been asking for this character, and like if I were a dumber man, I would be one of those people on Reddit right now saying, "Oh, they made this character because everyone was angry about Coliseum, and now everyone would be like, oh my god, I love this character."
Yeah,
But I am a an informed person who understands that this character's probably been in development for like 9 to 12 months already.
yeah.
So she's been on development for a while. It's a great way to start the year. I personally think that she is going to be a self-contained lifter. Old
Yep.
Republic is a dying faction, dead faction as a faction. You use Jedi Knight Revan, sure. Um, and CG has done a lot to try to make every faction relevant to some degree. And I think that this is a great way to say, hey, how can we pick a popular character that people will really resonate with and also bring something to the game that is going to make some older characters interesting?
So I've already seen at least one comment of Galactic Legend Revan incoming.
Just one. That's it.
Well, I've only looked for like 30 seconds. Um, no, I tend to
I
agree
don't
with
think
you. Is
so.
that I think that we are. This is just a hey, let's add some characters around this because there's other stuff coming this year that I think makes more sense and has a little bit of a broader appeal
Yeah,
to
because it
people.
it would seem weird to say, hey, we're bringing in this Conquest character to lift all of these other characters, but then we're going to give you this GL who's probably going to want this character because,
Yeah.
like, it just makes sense for them to work together, which is going to take away the team that we just gave you. Now, CG has been dense before, but, like, I feel like they've been getting smarter.
Although that would be completely on brand if you remember the
GMY and
grand
Bastille. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
so Grandmaster Yoda got the Zeta and then she comes in and immediately becomes the leader of that team. So yes, like that
Okay.
would at
That's
least
fair.
be like on trend with it,
With this type of thing, with Old
Yeah, yeah,
Republic.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's fair. And you know what? When this stuff was coming out, we also had 8 battles on hard nodes. So maybe we'll get 8
Yes.
battles on hard nodes too. Who
That-
knows?
That's what this is the precursor for eight battle hard nose. So
This is them.
uh,
They should have done that during the 10th anniversary just to say, like, this was early, not early. Early was 3, but
yeah,
like, we
yeah.
did this for a while. We tried it. It didn't work for us, but it would have been fun for the people that needed those shards. No, I think it's self-contained. I don't think we're gonna get any more Old Republic. You and I were talking a little bit yesterday. I do see there being some more cinematic stuff. There's a lot coming out for Star Wars. With Mandalorian and Grogu, which I'll give you credit to because you kind of brought that up and I kind of forgot about it. I don't know if we're gonna get any characters that are directly tied to that movie, but I do think we'll get characters tied to that property, if that makes sense.
Yes, in fact, one of my predictions is very much tied to that topic. So
Okay.
yes. Do we want to talk through those? We want to talk through some of the things we think are going to happen.
Yeah, so this seems like we're jumping all over, right? Because I do want to talk about something with Satele, but we're
Oh
not
yeah,
going
no,
to do
no,
it.
look,
No. So we're not
okay,
going to do a kit reveal. We're not going to talk about
yeah,
that tonight. We have a lot to talk about, but there is something important in her kit that has to do with something I was going to
okay,
say as a prediction. And if anyone thinks I'm bullshitting, I sent it to you in
you did.
PMs. I sent it to Phil in PMs, though he'll deny it. I sent it to Discord, and I was like, I predicted this shit. Let's do it. So your first prediction here
Yeah.
for the year.
So look, and you said it. We are getting a new Star Wars movie for the first time since 2019 in May of this year with the Mandalorian and Grogu. And
Yeah.
again, and we have different opinions on the do you predict characters or not, or kind of what the how smart of an idea that is. But I think that there's two pieces I do feel so. If we look at the cadence, we're going to get an era that's going to run. We'll call it March until about May. It's about that window it's going to sit. So that May, the second era of this year that'll start in that period is going to be tied to the Mandalorian Grogu. And actually, I do think this is different. I think that there's going to be a push from Disney to
Okay.
get marketing things out there. And I think that we're going to be very similar to the Solo. We're going to get characters from the movie. Like, I'm not saying Babu Frick, but I know like the Babu Frick character, like, but something like that that's specific there. What I really want to pull that to is, to me, it makes all of the sense in the world that the back part of this calendar is a galactic legend of the Mandalorian or Grogu or a galactic legend of the two of them, for no other reason than I think that this is closing the book on that story
Okay.
from a Disney perspective. So this is like the time to tie a bow around that and call it a day. So the bigger piece is we're going to get characters for the new movie, but I think that we're going to see galactic legend tied to this movie, and it's going to be the Mandalorian because frankly, it's time.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
take the galactic legend argument out of it. He has carried the water for this franchise for a
For a
decade.
while.
It's
Yeah.
time to do this.
And I mean, on the it makes me groan so hard when people are like, "Oh, he's not a galactic legend. He didn't do this, didn't do that." To me, galactic legend has always been this is a character that has some notoriety, right?
Yes.
Within their faction. They don't have to be able to kill every person in the Star Wars universe. They just have to be someone that when you think of that faction, they are the top of that faction, right? So while the Mandalorian may not be as fucking badass as Lord Vader, he does fit that bill with everything that's kind of gone on with the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah,
I'm still
I agree.
holding out for a GL Thrawn personally. I will give you GL Mando and Grogu first, but I need a GL Thrawn within the next 2 years.
I I think he's coming. I just don't think it's his turn.
Okay.
I and 6 months ago I would have told you, no, this is the year of GL Thrawn. Until you start to connect, like to me, it is amazing that this game, we are 10 years into this game, and there has been two Star Wars movies. Actually, I'm sorry, three Star Wars movies released in that time frame. Like
Hmm.
that blows my mind that this game has been this successful off the back of basically what are Disney TV shows. Have been what a lot has generated the new stuff that's been in this game. And I just I hope I get a new Zeb. I hope I get a new Chopper. Uh, but I think that that's what this is kind of all building towards.
I will say, when we talk about like the movies, I could do 3 hours on this alone, and I
Sure.
have in the past. My brother is one of the biggest Star Wars nerds in the world. Like I've told you, he is someone who he has told me on repeated occasions, we'll go out to the bar. I'll drive 3 hours upstate to see him. We'll
Yeah.
drive out to the bar, and he'll just sit there with his beer in hand and huff and be like, Kathleen Kennedy. And then I'll know in my head, like, oh God, here we go again. Another 3 hour debate that we're going to be talking about things. Um, I have always felt that Star Wars is, not has been, but is better told in a TV format. I just feel like an episodic format works better for the stories in Star Wars. Now, that doesn't mean that every story that's come out has been good. I just feel like if they figure out the formula, doing 6 to 8 episodes and this is a story and then that's a story will
Yeah.
really work so well rather than doing movies. And I just think that when Star Wars came out, that wasn't an option. That wasn't the
Yeah.
landscape of media.
I think that's fair. I think maybe a different way to say that is Star Wars ruined itself by creating the first trilogy,
Yeah,
and now everything has to be told in a three-story
in a
format.
three-story arc. So
You know, it
to me, I don't know if you've ever read World War Z.
Yes,
Okay.
I've read pieces or big pieces of it, and then it's
Okay.
big, and I got
So
bored.
anyone that hasn't read World War Z, it's by Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' son, and it's basically like little 3 or 4 episode little mini
Yeah,
chapters about the world after zombies. And one episode might take place on a submarine. Another is like 20 years later in a backwater country, and it's just like how life is in this world. And they did a World War Z movie with Brad Pitt, which was a great generic zombie movie. It wasn't
yeah,
World War Z. It was just a zombie movie, and everyone hated it because it wasn't World War Z. And I always felt like World War Z and the movie came out during this time period would have worked really well in a 20-minute episodic web
yeah,
series format. Because that was the era of web
yeah,
series. And that to
yep.
me is Star Wars. Star Wars is like, let's tell this story and give it space to build and then go tell another story. And I just don't think they figured it out yet.
Which is why I think I have a lot of hope for the Mandalorian and Grogu, because it's like the big double episode at the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's
You
fair.
know,
That's very fair.
they told a bunch of stories, and now like I believe the intention is we're gonna make this, and it's gonna like it's the end. It's not
Yeah.
setting up something else. It's over at this point. So we'll see.
But then in 5 years, 10,000 light years away, the Mandalorian will meet our next character for some reason. Because every character in Star Wars knows each other. No, but I do think that
Yes,
that's fair,
absolutely.
and and
Yeah,
and we're already seeing that, like with Stranger Things, right? Like if you look at the last
yeah,
episode of Stranger Things, AMC Theaters is doing showings of the last episode of Stranger Things, and it's
yeah,
kind of the
yeah,
same idea of like, come see this big epic conclusion
yeah.
to our TV show. I will give you that 100%. Um, some of my predictions here. Number one, I'm not a big character predictor, but number one, I really think that this is the year of Bail Organa. I
Okay.
feel it. I feel it in my bones. We're getting Bail Organa this year. My reasoning is that Luthen lifts either a Saw team or a Mon Mothma team. Give me Bail Organa, who works exactly like Luthen, but now I can switch between them.
Yeah,
Give me a character that says, "All right, this guy goes with this guy goes with Mon Mothma, this guy goes with Saw," and I can switch between them. I can choose. I want to do it this way. I want to do it that way. I would prefer to use him with Mon Mothma because it just makes sense from a Galactic Senate point of view.
yeah.
I'm seeing it. It is happening. He is the one glaring omission in this roster right now.
So what I love about that is if we get a Mon Mothma team that is like Mon, and then you get the the foppish Luthen, tag on that, because he gets the non-murder version of it. Then you
Mhm.
get Bale, and then maybe we get 3PO, and maybe we get like one other Senate-like character, and like it's like this weird, very non-violent team that
It's like
just
the
kills things.
Tuskens, right? The
Yeah,
Tusken team. There's like two guys that hit, and then there's a bunch of
yeah,
guys that just go like this.
yeah,
Like I love weird teams, and I've
yeah,
wanted Bail Organa for so long. I don't want him shooting people. I
yeah,
want him doing underhanded deals against the Empire. Like
yeah.
that's what I want. My
How did
other
that
big,
team die? I argued
I
them
don't
to
know.
death. I
Let's
argued them to death.
when you watch the Tusken team, they go against CLS. CLS does a bunch of turns, and then they have zero health. And
Yeah,
you go, I don't know what happened, right? Like I don't know what happened here.
yeah.
My other big prediction for the year is tied to Satele Shan, and I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna read for you what I had said in Discord at the end of last year. Incoming major update for 2026. We realize we've developed ourselves into a corner, so now we're introducing tier 2 buffs and debuffs that cannot be countered by tier 1 buffs and debuffs. Insta kill tier 2 cannot be prevented by insta kill immunity tier 1, right? That was given on December 26th of
Okay.
last year, which was less than a month ago. Again, we're not doing a Satele Shan kit reveal here, but if we go to Satele Shan, her Grand Arena Omicron on her unique, whenever an Old Republic ally with less than 20% health is damaged, they equalize their health with the strongest enemy. If all allies are Old Republic, they gain immunity from revive immunity, which persists through defeat. That is basically the same
Yeah.
goddamn thing. I'm telling you that this is the year of them doing that with a bunch of debuffs.
Uh, By the way, that phrasing is just like they gave gain immunity from immunity. I'm like, I don't like that. There's got to be a better way to say that.
It is so it is weird. Like I think the reason they did it is because like I'm not dense. I know that zombie has that already.
Yeah,
But zombie came out way before like revives were really a thing. And it was just like, no, this is a zombie. Like it's gonna keep coming back.
yeah,
I think that they're trying to more normalize this. And I just think that they just need to change the names and say this is not a revive. This is something just so that you're not like your brain doesn't
yeah,
break. Because in
yeah, yeah,
2035, they're going to be like this character's immunity gains immunity from the revive immunity of the immunity, but he's resistant to this immunity.
yeah,
No, just make it easier. Make it tier 2, make it tier 1, make it revive then resurrection. I don't give a shit. Just
yeah.
make it my dumb lizard brain can understand it.
So, and by the way, your message that you sent to me now makes much more sense because I had not seen the Satele kit. So when you
Mhm,
sent that,
okay.
I'm like, wait,
What's
who?
going on?
It looked like you were responding to someone else, and I didn't see that. But now it makes much more sense that
Okay.
of that case. Because yeah, as I'm sitting there waiting for my daughter to get out of practice, I read that and I'm like, all
What's he
right,
talking
I
about?
think I'm now dumber for having read that. I don't know what any of these words mean.
That's some Billy
Uh,
Madison shit right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Exactly. The my next prediction will probably not go over well,
Okay.
uh, but I do think that this is an accurate statement. We are not going to see an update to Guild PvP in
Okay.
2026.
Why
I,
do
I
you feel
just I
that way?
don't um, because the game seems to be focused more around uh, short loops that can be done independent of schedules,
Yeah,
and Guild PvP is just too tied to
to a
schedule.
schedule.
To a short-term schedule. And I know you can make the argument that territory battles is, but I think it's a little different from that side. Um, I love the fact that when we get matched up against some of these PvP guilds that we have no chance, and I'm just told like we're not doing anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
great. I
I
don't have to worry
love
about when am I getting in an attack between my son's wrestling matches on a Saturday because I'm in a wrestling tournament for for
so
8 hours.
I have had recently people have messaged me when I match up with them in TW and they'll be like, "Oh my god, we're against you in TW."
Yeah.
And then I'll look up their guild and it's like the best TW guild in the world. And I've had a
Yeah.
lot of fun. What I've started doing is I'll film them like cameos and I'll send them a message that I'd be like, "Hey guys, this is Egnards here. Don't even bother. We're not going to fucking try.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
terrible at TW and we don't care." And I'll send it back to the person and say like, "Hey, forward this to your guild. Like have fun with it. It's our day off. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Enjoy."
Yeah. Our old guild leader came back this week, and it was just like, look, nothing's really changed except we've gotten really, really good at some PVE modes, and we just stopped caring about PvP.
Yeah.
It's just
And there's no
uh,
reason to now unless they change their rewards. Like I mean, I don't have an unlimited supply of droid brains, but I can get them on my own now, which makes
yeah,
it much
yeah.
easier to contend with, and I just am not concerned with it at all.
And I think the other big thing with territory wars is so I know like they've talked about there's been conversations people have had around what does changing GAC because we're getting too many teams in GAC look like. And it always comes back to no one wants to hear about adding another board or 5 more teams because the time that it takes through to get through GAC.
It takes
The
time.
only way you fix the only way you fix a guild PvP is you have to add more teams and then that becomes massively more time consuming. And I think that I disagree with people that still believe CG is concerned about in-game engagement, because I think that they've seen where the focus on that has driven more people away from the game than finding other ways to evaluate them. And one of the ways of evaluating metrics is I've found a way to make more people spend money by lowering the
Yes.
overall cost to do things.
Yes.
Because revenue is the ultimate engagement meter
Yes.
in
Yes.
this case.
I
Um,
do think that there was an era of mobile gaming where engagement time wise was the most important metric because there was probably some study that said the more time they spend in game, the more likely they are to spend. But I
yeah,
think that the industry has smartened up, right? Because it's an infant industry. It is
yeah,
a blink and you miss it. It's only been around for like the last 15 years. I think that they have wised themselves up to realize that they can get people to play less but also spend more,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's kind of where they're playing with now. I do think that your prediction is a cop out, though, if we're talking about negatives, because you know what? I predict that we're not getting Jabba's band this year.
Fair enough.
We're not
Fair
getting
enough.
Dexter Jetster either.
But I think though
I
that
get
it
it though,
is, yeah. I
because it is
mean,
something that's on
yes,
everybody's mind.
it is. It is. There again. There's a subset of the community is like, this is the year. Like it now. It's the time to go back
Hmm.
and here. And I just think that it's more of a statement on where CG sees the best use of development resources, and to get people to enjoy what they're doing and to get through the next 10 years.
Yeah, they've kind of. I mean, they might even see like, hey, a lot of people aren't engaging with this, but they're still spending money.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Like what I don't think people realize is that every development decision has a price tag attached to it.
Yep.
And if they're going into a meeting, right? So you got like CG Meathead, CG Microwave, CG Coffee. They're all sitting around, and Meathead is like, "Hey, listen, I really want to do a new TW mode. This is what it'll entail. We've run the estimates with our number crunchers. It'll cost us about $300,000 to implement this in the game." It's not just a bunch of guys going, "Hey, oh, that sounds good. Great. Like we love this game. Awesome. Let's make." Like
Yeah.
there are numbers attached to
Yeah.
everything. It's this decision will cost us 15 grand. This decision will cost us 10 grand. Like what decision will definitely increase revenue, but is also not as expensive as the thing that might be a little bit more risky to the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Yep.
Now,
So what else you got? What else do
okay.
you think's happening this year?
So my prediction here, and again, I don't like predicting characters, so I'm not going to here. I know, but I said Bail Organa. It took us 4.5 years to get a new relic level, and I know that it's kind of a cop out to say we're going to get a new relic level. I think we're actually going to get two. I think by the end of the year we're getting relic 12. And I think that they'll actually roll out at the same time. I don't think it'll be like, all right, hey, Relic 11, oh, hey, Relic 12. I think by the end of the year, it's just going to be like, hey, we're doing Relic 12. Here's how to get Relic 11 and Relic 12. I think that that's the whole
I
purpose of Relic
hate that.
Delta. It's the
I
whole
hate that.
purpose of Relic Delta is to do this.
Ooh. Um,
Yeah.
man, I don't.
Now
So
listen.
what's
When we talk about relic levels, right? Like relic 7 to 8 was about $100. Relic 8 to 9 was about 150. Relic 9 to 10 is about 200. I don't think it's going to be like 250 then 300.
yeah,
I think that it's going to be more of together those are 300, but that they want to kind of expand. I think that they've been so generous with Relic 10 in terms of like, oh, we're going to give you this free one. Oh, we're going to give you this calendar for a free one. Oh, we're going to do
yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
Because they just want people, they want to reset the game, and they need to get us to a point where we're okay with Relic Delta before they start change like expanding the difference between the big spenders and the little spenders, so that we don't blame it on Relic Delta. Instead, we blame it on Obama, right? That's the whole thing that's going on here.
yeah, yeah. So what's really interesting about this idea is something that Fatal was talking about a few weeks. I think it was maybe it was on Roundtable right around Thanksgiving, but he said one of the interesting things about if you move to a fast relic delta cadence like you're talking about, that gone will be the days of being able to peanut butter your roster at like relic 10, and
Hmm.
then I lift everybody up to 11 and down the line. And he said one of the interesting things, if you speed up the relic cadence, is you end up finding rosters that invest in like that old model of like, I'm a dark side player, I'm a first order player,
Hmm.
that you really only pushing a portion of your roster because it's the only way to keep pace in a relic delta world, which starts to create differences in rosters
Which
again. So
is
now all of a sudden you get a cool meta because like, no, I like these three, like, look, I love Jabba and Ahsoka, so that's where I'm putting all my resources on. And maybe you're like, no, I'm Kylo and Hondo. And now like when we go to face each other in PvP, it's different.
anyone who knows me, which is going to be nobody. People are going to comment and be like, "I didn't know this about you." I've been on record multiple times saying this. My favorite time in the game was before Galactic Legends, because once Galactic Legends started to come into the game, and I don't think Galactic Legends themselves ruined the game, but I think that once you started assigning relic levels to all of these requirements, every single roster started looking exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna face. I know exactly what the defense I'm gonna face. Like, it's not interesting. The game is still fun, but it's not interesting anymore. I like the idea of going back and it being different. In fact, yesterday I had a person on Discord send me a guild chat screenshot, and it was their guild Discord. Somebody going, "Oh fuck, I'm against this guy who has 3 Relic 10 Gungans. He must have a Gungan fetish." And this guy was like, "Oh, is it Egnards?" And the
Yeah.
guy posted a screenshot. It was me, right? I'm facing this
Yeah.
other guy. He knew right off the bat, oh, he's got 3 Relic 10 Gungans. It must be Egnards. It
Yeah.
must be that
Yeah.
dumbass. I love the idea of that so much.
Uh, they would have to go down this path of multiple relic levels in a year to get me to apply it. I still have not applied an R10 yet.
Okay.
So like they would have to do something that would force me to do that because it's a disadvantage for me in PvP or something similar. Um, I hate the idea because I'm afraid of paralysis by analysis that would happen in that
But
case.
just like the era
But
battles.
yeah, yeah, but at the same time, I like that idea just from getting some different rosters
Some variety back into the
with
game.
some variety would be good. I
And
think
I think
really
that with Relic 10, what we've seen so far is obviously you've had some people who have relicked their favorite characters.
yeah,
But overall, people are, because it's one relic level and because it's slow, people are just going, oh, I'm going to do Leia. Oh, I'm going to do Ezra. I'm going to do like these
yeah,
really great characters. I think if you speed it up a little bit more, people will be more apt to do, all right, I'm going to do 1 or 2 characters that are important, but then I'm going to do 1 or 2 characters that are really fun for me.
yeah,
And then we have to keep in mind that the goalpost will move, right? Like, they moved the Relic 8 and 9 materials away, and then they moved the Relic 9 materials away,
yeah,
and then they moved the Relic 10 materials away. So by the time we get to Relic 12, you might only be asking for Relic 9, 10, 11, and 12
yeah,
materials. Who knows?
yeah.
Which will allow people to kind of move ahead.
So my last one again, it's a little bit of a negative, um, but I I can't believe I'm going to say this because I really don't like this mentality. If so CG said they've been investigating a PvP game mode associated with era characters.
Hmm.
If they do that, that will be the first game mode that they actually back out of the game and don't and have to move away from, because I think that what I'm saying there is, if there's a player versus player change in PvE, but a PvP between player and player, if it comes into arena or into Coliseum, it will be a colossal failure that they will have to back away from. I
Un-
I I, I don't think we'll ever see it, but if that happens, it will be a colossal failure.
Now, obviously, we don't know what guest characters looks like yet.
Yeah.
Um, so we only have the Colosseum that we have to go off of right now. But I very strongly agree with that. I just do not think that that would work at all. And I think that there's this rose colored glasses of if there are enough guest characters that it'll work. And I think what will end up happening is that within a week, everyone will just figure out what the meta team is that works. And then that just is what everybody's using.
Yeah.
And it's not interesting after the first 3 days.
Now, I'm going to put a bonus one on top of this. Um, and I don't want to go into how we got here because I just don't want to talk about it. But I think that CG is going to find out that giving everyone all of these reroll mats for Datacrons ended up being a lot of fun for people.
Hmm.
Being able to build some of these things and what it's going to do to PvP. Like I have not in a week. We're not a week. Yeah, we're a week in.
About a
I have
week,
not
yeah.
in a week seen the end of PvP as a lot of people seem to believe, giving all of access to some of these rerolls.
I
I
have
think that it's yeah. And I think that what that's going to do is I think that's going to open the door for CG to find a way to make this
to
more
do this
available
more.
to more people because I think people are having fun with it.
So it's interesting because I don't know if it's the opposite opinion, but it's like maybe tilted a little bit the opposite way. Um, I do not, I benefit from this because I do
Mhm.
not invest super heavily in datacrons. I get what I get and I don't get upset, right? I do my
Mhm.
50s. I hope for the best. I get something. I have heavily benefited from this. I only had to do rerolls on like 3 days of the last conquest or refreshes during
Yeah.
my like I didn't have to bother. I was saving crystals. It was awesome because I could just do these rerolls. It is helping my PvP. But I've also found it really frustrating because everybody has perfect crons.
Yeah.
Every cron is perfect. And some of those fights are coming down to just like, let's just see if the RNG hits me right or hits them right. And
Yeah.
I haven't found it fun. I know it's fun to see big numbers. I know it's fun to be like, oh my God, I have a perfect cron. But the PvP itself, and I did 3-0 last week. I went 3-0, so I won. I'm
Yeah.
great, but I did not enjoy any of my battles.
So I, I can't speak to the battle piece of it because I did not do a fight in 3v3. So I've
Well, in
crashed.
fives, the last
Yeah,
fives.
no,
Oh,
so
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm way down into K2.
Okay.
And so look, all of my opponents this time around, they took tens and they walked out. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
that's what it was. But I'm watching kind of our GAC chat and I'm seeing people participate in that GAC chat that I have not seen in the past. And to me that's there seems to be a higher level of engagement. And again, some of the players, it's they've got 4 or 5 of these really great crons. It's not like they're going through and doing 30 of them at a time. But I think that there is a piece of when you open the door a little bit more, you make some of these things more available, you get that magical engagement piece that people are willing to play along with it. And make no mistake, CG cost themselves so much effing money with this because no, I didn't refresh.
At all.
I'm in the same boat as you. Like I was done in a day, and then normally like I spend crystals every
Hmm.
day just getting refreshed. I didn't need them. They probably cost themselves $30 from me in refresh over the
Right.
course of it.
Which doesn't seem like a
So
lot, but when you think about that over a lot of people,
yeah,
like it's a lot of money.
or all of the standard Datacron packs that have entered the store this week. They're like, no one's buying those.
Yeah.
Like there is not a person that's like, oh, I need a data, I
I
need
need
one more
these.
Datacron, so I'm going to buy that. Like it's done at this point.
And
So
then like the
I
dolphins,
just
because the whales, like the whales that I talked to, they already had 30 before this even
yeah
happened. But
yeah
like the dolphins who are like, oh, I'm still buying these things, they're like, I already have everything. I don't
yeah
need to do these things. So they're not
yeah.
spending on all of that stuff on the reroll mats. I just I
But
personally have not had fun but I understand the engagement metric from people who normally don't interact in this space.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it leads to more revenue from those players going forward. If they're like, oh, I want to invest more in the future, if I want to continue playing
Yeah.
in the Datacron space.
So yeah, those are kind of my big ones, and I know the PvP one again. It's a little bit of a corner case, but I just don't think we're gonna see a major change in PvP, and it's not going to be through Coliseum is what they suggested earlier this year.
No, I think their big focus is on Coliseum this year, and getting eras correct this year.
Yeah,
As we near actually, this will be the longest episode we've ever done, but I have one quick topic that I want to discuss with you, really, really fast. Now, when Relic Delta came to the game, we were talking about Conquest and how Conquest would
yeah,
affect Relic Delta. And CG said, "Hey, we're turning this off during the Stranger. We are we are planning to make sure that the changes we make are player forward, to be so everyone's happy, right? Because the issue was that they were making Sector 4 Relic 4, Sector 1 Relic 4, and Sector 2 through 5 Relic 5, which would be a problem with people who have like Relic 9 POW Omicron, because you're not going to get anything from that. We don't really know specifics yet, but we did get feats.
yes.
The feats, I've heard from people that they look relatively easy. They look pretty much the same to me. Like, attempt to inflict potency down 50 times. That seems about normal. Gain tenacity up 60 times. Tenacity up is a buff, so it's easier to do that without having to worry about damage.
Yeah.
Potency down is a debuff, so damage is a problem there. The only really interesting thing that we know right now is that in the global feats, the key cards for the 250 enemies on the golden challenge path used to be 15. It is now 1.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the feats in the global feats now have increased amounts of key cards to equal up to those missing 14. So some are worth 18, some are worth 17. It'll basically work out to be the same thing. It seems like a really long way to go about doing something. And the 250 enemies on the Golden Challenge path now also rewards F34T training droids. We have no idea what that is, but
We do.
we do.
Yes. So someone found in the day. So I saw this right as we started the show. So let me read this to you, and then I want you
Okay.
to tell me what you think it's there for, because this is
Okay.
interesting. So this is out of the data mine. At the start of battle, all enemies are inflicted with tenacity down until the end of battle, which can't be dispelled, prevented, and are immune to tenacity up. Enemies can't have their health reduced below 1% while the enemy leader is present.
Interesting. So their way of combating Relic Delta is saying we're going to give you a battle where you can just beat the shit out of things.
Yes. You can just finish it.
Okay.
You're just bound
Interesting.
by time.
Do we know how many of these that we get?
Um, no.
Like, is it maybe it's do we know if it's a data disk?
And it could be. That I don't know.
I'm thinking it
But
because you know what? Scribe did a video and there was a data mine, I think, a week ago where there was a data disk that looked gold.
okay.
I'm wondering if that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you
It,
do this thing, golden path, right? There's the logic, golden path,
yeah.
golden training droids. You do this thing, and now it's really easy for you to farm the feats.
Now, where it's going to fall down is who is the best character for farming feats right
Padawan
now,
Omicron. Padawan
and what does
Obi-Wan,
he
yeah.
do?
And
And what does he
AoE.
do? A big ass AOE that is just going to chop that leader down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So, uh,
finish. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we'll see. This is an interesting way to go about it. Um, we'll have to see again. We'll have to see what the implementation. But this is a unique way of doing it. I I think it's an interesting idea. I don't like it reading it where I shouldn't say that. Reading it where I'm concerned is I get a lot of feats just clearing the
Just going
board,
through.
and I'm afraid that it's just like no, they're gone. That
Hmm.
everybody like you just can't build those up. Like I don't want to go backwards. Is like
Yes.
my big thing,
So now you
and
do
this
conquest
sounds
in
like
like
I
a
have to go
day or
backwards.
two, right? Like you're that's
Yes,
your
yeah,
thing, and you've explained your reason for that in the past to me, and it's not for me, but I understand your reasoning, which is really just time wise. I'd rather take
yep,
the band-aid off, do it all right away, which is perfect.
yep,
For me, I do it as I go along. It takes me about 5 days, and then I finish off on the Datacron nodes.
yep,
I By the time I get to that, I've done almost everything. So I only have to
yep,
like think with half of my brain. Now they're
yep,
kind of saying you have to get through all of these sectors and you're going to have to think with your full brain in that second half because
yes,
you're not going to
yep,
be as completed with everything anymore.
yeah. I the way I run Conquest is like I don't typically move into Sector 2 until
Yeah.
I've finished everything in Sector 1. So it's
Okay.
like you never it's always forward, never backwards. I'm not sure that's going to work this way going
Hmm.
forward. Although if you only need 250 on the challenge path, that's may. But again, I will give them an opportunity
Yeah.
to figure out how this works as it goes from that side. Um, I'm just not sure this is going to really scratch the itch the way that I need
So
it to.
if this is a data disk, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I will be annoyed that as someone who doesn't buy the Conquest Pass that I'll have to waste energy. I know it's only 7. I'm
Yeah,
being like very stingy in that point, but like I don't hate it. If it's a consumable, I hate it very much.
yeah, yeah,
This kind of goes back to what we were talking about when they go into meetings and they say like this will cost 100,000, this will cost
yeah,
10,000, like whatever. Because my thought was that it should be something like, and I know I don't think that this would work for you with the way that you do Conquest, but you finish a sector and you can turn off Relic Delta in that sector.
yeah,
You just get like a check mark that says no more Relic Delta. I've proven I can beat it. I've proven that
yeah.
that it's done and doable. Turn off Relic Delta, now let me farm. That is how I think they should have done it. I don't think it would work for you with your strategy. It would work for me with my strategy, but I also understand that in that meeting where they were discussing options, my option probably was way more expensive.
And also, if they provided a way to turn off Relic Delta, you would hear a lot more people in the community making arguments for turning off Relic Delta in other parts of the game.
Then it's fair. It's fair.
You know,
My
it's
counter argument would be, well, it's after I've already beaten it, right? Like I've beaten the
yeah,
game. I get the cheat code after I beat the game. That's how GoldenEye
yeah.
works.
But the right now the way it is like, oh, we can't turn off Relic Delta because it's core to the way that it works. The second that you
Yeah.
give an option to turn off Relic Delta, now, oh well, you can turn it
Well,
off.
why can't you just
We
do it?
want one PV every 3 months that doesn't have Relic Delta associated
Yeah.
with it. Like now you start getting into that. I the other piece, and I don't know what your experience is in territory battles, but the impact of Relic Delta on PVE is not nearly as pronounced as I expected it to be.
No. I could spend another 45 minutes if you want to sit here. Let me grab another drink. We could do it. Like we could talk about this. We could do a whole bonus episode on this. We could do a Kickstarter stretch goal. I don't know. Um, I am a big proponent of there should have been PVE numbers and PvP
Yeah,
numbers,
yeah,
and they should have been more in PvE because you could do that without having to worry about that balance. It has been nothing in like my Gungans do better. That's fun. The
yeah,
Gungans are fun. You know, not Fulcrum. Ahsoka is fun in phase 1 with
yeah,
the modifiers for protection up. Other than that, you don't. When you need it, you don't
yeah,
notice it. Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Um, I think the biggest reason why we haven't been able to get Meathead on the show is that you're afraid that I'm actually going to light him up over this topic. So, you know,
I actually thought about asking him today. I was like, maybe, but we were much more polite than I thought we were going to
Yeah,
be. So if I went back in time, I
yeah,
would have I would have talked to him. Meathead, come join us.
yeah, yeah.
CG webcam. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking about. Come join us, please. Please come join us. Come hang out. I will make sure that Pico is on his best behavior. I promise
Yes.
you. We are, and I feel like we have proven that even when we are detractors, that we are fair
Yeah.
and that we understand both sides
I can be a grown up when I have to be.
when I
So
have to be. Not right
when
now.
I have to be.
With that said, man, we have gone about an hour and 40. So this is I feel well, we haven't been here in a month, right? We've missed 2 episodes, I think. One episode, I don't know what it is. So that's like our bonus for the people who have been sad, the people who have been messaging
Yeah,
me. They got a little extra tonight of us. Their commute is a little bit longer, but I think we're all done for now. I
I
know
think
we
we
didn't
are.
do Satele Shan, but we got 3 months. Like, calm
Yeah.
down. I think we
Not
are
to mention,
good.
no one likes reading kits out of the game. Like that's even worse than just reading kits. Is when you have to do it out of the game and you can't do it out of the webpage.
Yeah, and then
That's
you
terrible.
can't see like the animations or
Yeah,
anything, what it looks like. Ah, man, whatever. It is what it is. We'll maybe get to it or we won't. It depends on what the news cycle is like. Um, this is our first show of the year. I have a good feeling about 2026, even though we started, I feel like, on some negatives in the end of 2025. I have a great feeling about 2026. I'll leave you with that last word, man.
N- uh, man, if you'd have told me in 2025 I'd be back podcasting again, I would have told in 2026. I would have told you you were insane. And yeah, I'm excited to kick off 2026. Looking forward to an awesome Zeta Protocol for a full year,
That's right.
and what the game is in front of us. So
That's right, and we'll get the 1 year anniversary. So we'll get Sarah in here for the Taylor Swift episode when Taylor Swift drops her next album. We'll do it all. With all of that said, peace out. Have a great rest of your night.